Oh, that's all right. I'm finished work now, so I'm Tuesday night is I write all day Tuesday, so I'm kind of manic. So I write a quiz, a comedy quiz.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And
then I send it out to bars, sell it to bars, and I host it tonight. So I wrote it, lay in the dark for 20 minutes, and then went to host it. And just finished now, and that's like my work day. Everything else is just a gig or 2 hours of hosting the quiz. So today it's so I apologize if I'm a bit manic.
No, fucking turn up the juice. Yeah. This is perfect for people who don't understand what coming in from a gig is like, because you're still kind of going twitchy-eyed. This is perfect. This is, for the listeners, this is a perfect example. Al is going to be fucking frantic. Sound like he's on speed a small bit, like, and there's just that, hey, do you know to be fucking great? That's the, because you can't explain that to people. You either need, like, I've heard comedians say before, you either need a long drive after a gig or a heap of beer, one or the other. Because if you just come straight in the door, you'll be peeling fucking wallpaper off the walls. Like,
that's it. I used to, like, I don't drink beer. I drink cider at the gigs. So any gig I turn up to or any quiz, they have a cider and a Jägermeister for me. That's what it is, Jägermeister cider. So I'm off me nut for 2 hours, and then beer calms me down. So if I'm like, I've been on tour the last while. This is like, it's mental. I've been on tour, and then if I wake up too hyper, the other lads are having coffee. I'm like, I need to calm down. So I'll have a beer, and then I'm calm, and then it's fine. So I didn't realize this, and then my ex. This is a weird story that came up recently. My ex, when we were in Dublin, she came home from work one day, and I was sliding on the kitchen on my socks, and I don't know how long I was doing it for. Right, I was unemployed. I was like, "What are you doing?" And then she figured out, if I give him a beer, he calms down. So now, like, my girlfriend now, she knows if he's getting a bit fucking, here's a beer, have a beer, or red wine. So red wine or beer, and then that's my sleepy juice, and then you calm down.
I love the idea that your missus comes in and puts the tit of a baby's bottle on top of a fucking bottle of wine for you, and just sits you back in her arms.
There you go. Just go to sleep. Go to sleep now. Go to sleep. It's lovely, but it's the only way. Otherwise, it's exactly what you said. It's the hardest thing to describe. It's better than any drug making people. It's the weirdest job. It's the weirdest job as well, to try to not even try, but to go out there to make people laugh, as you know. So the buzz of that is it's just crazy.
And where were you tonight then? Is it a set Tuesday night one then for you, this particular venue?
Yeah, it's so a few years ago, there's one pub quiz monopoly in this country, and everybody, it's like, when you think of a vacuum cleaner, you think of a Hoover. You call it a Hoover.
Oh, it's like Bingo Loco here. It's like fucking every
Bingo Loco.
Yeah.
But the other quiz is quite serious and boring, and it's full of nerds. And I hosted it once, and I spent the whole night arguing with people, because I was hired as a comedian, but I wasn't allowed to be funny. And I said, why am I here? You know what I mean? Why are you paying me money when that pleb behind the bar can do it?
Yeah.
So it's a weird story, but I started through an Irish bar. He wanted to get rid of all the nerds that didn't spend money in the bar, so he wanted me to shake it up and try and annoy people and wind people up, and I took over. And like, I remember one of the first nights, and the managers were there ready for complaints. One of the first nights, a lady calls me over and says, "It's too dark in this room." And I was like, "Oh, hang on, stop everything, get the managers over. Can we get 2 massive fucking floodlights on this table right now?" And she didn't know how to handle the banter, Then I got to a stage where she said, "Those 2 teams are cheating. They're on their phone." And they were last and second last. So I jumped on the mic and I said, "Look, I'm not going to tell you who told me this fucker, right? But I was told you're cheating, right? But you're last and you're second last. So learn how to Google, you know what I mean?" So it became that. And then multimedia, and then other bars start buying it. And it's like an anti-quiz, because like, I watch a lot of British panel shows and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to that, and it's full of banter, and you get expats mainly. So, English fans were finally back in the pub after the height of Euro. So tonight they got a roasting. And that's what it is. So I sell it to different bars, and it's just nonsense. And if someone doesn't want it, they don't want it. I don't care. But it pays the rent. It's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then corporates and stuff, and then I can gig at the weekends. So
Genius. Like, and how does the sale happen to the other bars then? If say you're in your venue tonight, the Irish bar, how do they use it? With your copyright, like how do they use it?
Yeah, well, it's based on trust really, because I sell it to the bar.
Yeah,
I can give them a host. One of my mates that are comedians.
Right.
I've an Irish guy, Northern Irish guy, and he hosts for me. And I had another lunatic Kiwi Filipino, and he kept stripping during the quiz and taking his willy out. But
okay, right.
care. But he's mental. He's great fun. But but I let them do what they want. And once they bring people in and people spend money in the bar pay me, so that's fine. But then there was other quizzes where people turned up and they were terrible, or they start slagging off the quiz or slagging off the bar, or they didn't have the banter, the MC kind of banter. And then, so that doesn't really work out. So I have to be careful. If a bar wants it, like there was 2 bars there tonight that want it for their bar.
Yeah.
But I had to explain to them that I can't do it and Darren can't do it, but they have to find somebody who has a bit of banter about them who can do it. But the jokes are in the quiz. All the nonsense is in the quiz. Like last week was school holidays, so I had my daughter with me. So to keep her quiet, I got her to draw pictures, right? While I was writing the quiz. So I got her to draw movie pictures, and the joke is it's her favorite movies. So it comes up on the screen. The first picture was The Lion King, and she's 8 years old, and it's amazing. And people are like, "Oh my God, it's so gorgeous. Look what she drew. Oh, she's so lovely." The next one was like Wreck-It Ralph for the Minions. And then it comes up Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas. Like, it can't be her drawing, And then it came up, what was it? Nightmare on Elm Street, and then The Shining and Hellraiser. And then the teams that get the joke, they get it. And she drew them, but she doesn't know the movie.
Of course.
She's just drawing what she's seen on the TV, what I showed a screenshot. So they're sitting there and they're putting down, I think that's Silence of the Lambs. And I'm like, Silence of the Lambs? I'm not going to show my kids Silence of the
Sick
Lambs.
bastards.
It's just a lot of banter and silly nonsense and that sort of stuff. And that's what, and that's, it's good. If otherwise the gigs on the Monday and Tuesday, there's no gigs on the Tuesday. Monday is open mics, which is horrifying.
Yeah.
And but like beginners nights, if you're hosting a beginners night and you're hearing the same sort of crude joke.
Yeah.
Yourself.
I have a pain in my chest just as you're saying that. I was like, oh jeez. Oh look, do you know what? Right now in Ireland, I'd fucking take that. I'd take it in the back of a fucking horse box. Because how does it feel living in the greatest country in the world? Because there's no hands down, there's no argument now. America have been saying it for years, but they're full of shit.
You can't say it to them because they expect you to say that, it's the greatest country in the world. They've been saying that. It's mental. Like we obviously, our PM here kicked it in the dick, smashed it, shut the borders. But we are an island as well, and not like Ireland. Like we are fucking. It's hard to get in here. You know?
Yeah.
So that really worked. And then, well, like when we had a fella from Australia come over. And this only recently, and they said, right, we may have to go back into lockdown. One fella from Australia who has COVID now breeded in these different locations, and everybody was contacted. A friend of mine was told, don't leave your house for 14 days, and it was fine. So this is when one person with a scent of COVID is near us, and we're like ready for lockdown. And then if they did pass it on, we had it. And Australia had it, or Melbourne had it as well, and it was bound to happen. The most recent lockdown was for 3 days because a security guard banged someone in the MIQ. So obviously there's a bit of banter. I think he wrote he wrote love letters on the back of COVID masks. I think that's what it was that made the news. I'll be in at 8 o'clock tonight with a bottle of wine, and he was in there for 20 minutes. Good man, 20 minutes.
Fair play.
And he was in there. And he got sacked, but then the country went into lockdown for 3 days because he went to the gym and blah blah blah. But it's amazing. Like I feel bad sharing gigs or gig info because of mates back in like Ireland and the UK.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, man, that's not fair. But it's pretty jammy. We are jammy, like we are, and I know that.
You can't. I suppose you don't have a comparison because it's not like you popped home for a bit and you can only hear what people say. But I'd say, like, other than the tourists, I suppose the upheaval hasn't been massive, has it? Like in comparison, I suppose from what you can tell, we've been like, it's just fucking dead as a doornail here. Like,
yeah, like we have, like, we can go to pubs, but pubs are complaining that because they can't bring in expats to work in the bar, so there's no staff. Because the only good people that work in the bar, I shouldn't say that, but all the bars want expats. You know what I mean? Because Kiwis don't really want to work in a bar, and Irish and British people come over, they work in a bar, they have the experience, they have the banter, and that's what it is. So a lot of bars are kind of struggling, but the thing is, they're open and they're making money, and people are going to bars, and it's so weird. There's a guy, oh man, I can't remember his name. He's over. He's a friend of a friend. He's a film director from Ireland. I can't remember his name right now. We wrote a couple of things with my mate, and he's over here doing a movie. And we were doing an Irish comedy show, and he just came out of quarantine.
Right.
And he came here, Lolsey Boy, he's mates with Lolsey Bourne, so we were doing this gig. Right. And he came out, and he was like, he walked into the pub where we were, and he was like, what the fuck? It was, and this isn't a joke. Like, he was, I remember this time. Yeah, he's like, you don't understand, lads. I haven't been in a pub for a year. And he's like, do you want a pint? Do you want a pint? Do you want a pint? And he'd go to the bar and come back with a red load of pints. And he had to be up. He had to teach people in the morning, so he couldn't stay out late. But he was like, I want to buy everyone pints. He was absolutely buzzing. We forgot what that was like, you know. Yeah, it was. Yeah. We're just used to it, you know. People breathing on you again, you know, for fuck's sake. But it's nuts. We take it for granted again.
Yeah, like you said, New Zealand, but also I suppose New Zealand is so fucking new, and Australia is so new, and they're used to, you know, there's been, you know, we've all seen the airport programs where they're invasive species of fucking dust mites coming in. They're going, that's it, we're gonna have to chop your legs off. Sorry, that's it, yeah. You know, so they have a history of shutting shit down, like just going, no.
They do. Like I have a joke. I think nearly everyone makes the same joke when they come over. But we had someone smuggle drugs in a few years ago, or maybe last year, 2 years ago. And the joke is, you can bring all the drugs you want into New Zealand, but if you bring in a banana, you know what I mean? You're gone. Yeah. You know, you can't bring in anything like that, because they've been through it before with, you know, I think there's, I forget what, I don't want to say in the case I'm wrong, but I think there's kangaroos somewhere and they're getting shot.
No, there's not. In New Zealand.
There's something here. There's animals here that they get shot because they're brought in. I need to double check that.
I think is it pigs? Is it wild pigs? I heard.
Oh,
they're not supposed to be there at all.
There's a lot of animals here that shouldn't be here.
And there's a type of deer apparently in New Zealand that aren't meant to be fucking there at all.
Yeah,
and they're bouncing all over the fucking shop, these deer. And but Americans were paying to come in and fucking shoot them, of course. Like, so it's like, that's
the other thing, right? With this lockdown, no one can come into the country. But all of a sudden, all these Americans that are in for America's Cup, all these rich people in their boats, you're like, hang on, I thought we were shut.
No,
but they
different.
have the money.
Yeah. Rich people don't get sick like that. Don't get COVID. Rich people don't. No, they don't.
You know, it's pretty good. We're pretty lucky. Like, it's fun. It's and it's great. I was going nuts. I can't imagine what yous are going through. My parents even stopped drinking. They got so bored with drinking.
It is fairly boring, I have to fucking say now. Drinking at home, it's fairly fucking shit. Just when that's the only option. It's grand to have a beer at home, cooking or whatever. But when there's no hope at the pub at the minute, you know, there's drinking outdoors, but nobody's getting excited by it because it's so unorganic. Do you know what I mean? It's like homogenized. You must sit here and we will bring your beer, and you're like, all right, kind of might want the option of hanging at the bar and singing a song, or maybe having a fight. You know, that like there's it's kind of the strip club equivalent to actually getting the ride. Like, you know, it's like, oh, grand, I can look at it, but it's not the same fucking thing,
is it? It's not the same. I can sniff it. I shouldn't say this, but my parents had a speakeasy. So there's a hotel near it. Yeah, I think they're going for a pint this weekend. I shouldn't say it, but fuck it, I will. There's a hotel near them that know who they are. They drink in the bar. So they turn up and they're given a room key so they can drink in the lounge. And if the guards turn up, they have a room key, so they're staying.
You can be guaranteed genius. The country over is doing that. You can be guaranteed they're doing that. Of course you fucking would too, like. Yeah. Jesus Christ.
It's a different idea than drinking in a bar. It's just nice. And if you're sitting at home, you're watching whatever Coronation Street she's watching, she's sitting there falling asleep, but you're not going to fall asleep in a bar because of embarrassment. You're sitting there and you're buzzing, you know?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's not the same thing when you're sitting in your fucking jocks drinking. It's nice to put on a fucking shirt. Do you know what I mean? Maybe fucking wash yourself. brush your teeth, maybe. You know what I mean? Not sitting like a fucking caveman drinking fucking Polish beer, like going, well, this is
Polish
fucking,
beer.
you know.
We were drinking a fucking the goons. I never drank a box wine in my life until lockdown. And we just, because you can only go, you don't want to go shopping too often because it's just weird in a supermarket where everyone's afraid. That's the other thing, right? No one's afraid to sneeze on each other anymore here. And that's what I noticed at a gig a couple of weeks ago. You're on stage and people are sneezing and whatever.
Yeah.
If that was this time last year, you couldn't even get a bit of a sneeze.
Oh man, I had to walk back. I had to walk back out of the shop the other day for fear of embarrassment of having the tiniest little cough. I went, oh, right, and I'd walk out and just had a cough because you'd be looked at like you've the plague. Well, he's the plague. We'll have to burn him.
Yeah. Oh man, I can't imagine, and I hope it never goes back.
Did handshaking go away?
It's back. I shook hands with about 7 people before I left. And I hate shaking hands to begin with. I've always hated it. Someone comes up and they're like, "Oh, good gig." You're like, don't near me, you know?
Yeah, I get you. But it's nice to have the fucking option. Again, it's like, you know, if somebody told you you're never allowed to go to Guam, you go, what? I'd never any. I need to go now, you cunts. Yeah. No, let me go to fucking Guam. It is. Yeah.
No, I didn't like handshaking. Then it came back. It's my birthday the weekend, so that's what that brought to more handshakes. Like, oh, you fucking there you go, head there. Like, oh fuck. And there's some people that, you know, when they come up to you and they shake your hands, and you have it in your head that your hand is riddled with germs, and you don't, you know what I mean? And you're waiting to go and wash your hands.
Yeah.
There's a guy tonight, and he's got a hard handshake as well, so you have to be ready for the handshake. You have to go in and do the whole process. Yeah, but yeah, handshakes are back. I wish they weren't.
Yeah, like I know what you're saying in pubs for sure, because the frequency of shitting and pissing and sneezing and bodily fucking carry on, it goes up by 30%, 50%, 100% in a fucking pub. Massive, but you know what I mean? If you met somebody on the building site or just, well, how, you know, at least you got strong possibility he didn't just take a dump or didn't just, you know, like, you know, there's a strong, but I get that. Yeah, I fucking get that. But what's happened to all the fancy fucking, because everybody has always told me prior to ever, because it was always wants to go to New Zealand, but people, there's so many things to do, but are Kiwis and people like yourself living there going, sure, I've done that. Fuck it. So is there like is Hobbiton covered in weeds now? Like,
no, I'm sure it's fine. They brought out this campaign. It had the most annoying song, you know, but it was pretty much do something new, New Zealand, and it's trying to get you to travel around the country and stuff. Now, that was my plan, and anyway, because I've lived here, I think 10 or 12 years, I can't remember, and I've never done it.
Right.
Because I never really did it. I don't know why. I went to a couple of places, but every year I'd go to Australia and do the festivals and do the, you know, Irish shows or whatever.
Yeah.
So only this year, and then, you know, Gary Sansom.
Yeah, the Scottish lad.
Yeah, so he's a COVID refugee like Lolsey. So he came here with that work ethic from the UK. It's like, I need to gig everywhere. So I booked in a couple of gigs and he booked in a few, and then we just decided to join up. So we're going everywhere. Brilliant. So we're up and down the country, which is great because you're gigging every weekend. And you're going to places that no one goes. Like, there's not a circuit here, you know?
Yeah.
Wellington, Auckland, maybe Christchurch, but there's nothing else. So we've been going to towns and selling out little bars and big bars, and it's been amazing. So while we're doing that, we're going to see places, except Hobbiton, because I couldn't give a fuck. But we've like Queenstown, and we're going there. Queenstown is massively famous. A lot of Aussies come over for the skiing. All the winter sports. Bungee jumping, I think, was invented in Queenstown.
Of course it was.
So yeah, I know, because you just want to fucking jump off something, and that's it. And everyone is kind of traveling around New Zealand and doing as much stuff as possible, especially with the summer or the school holidays this week and next week. I had my kid driving around. We went to Snowfield somewhere else and did all that carry on. So people are trying to spend money here, and Kiwis are like that. If you tell them the bars are struggling, everybody will go out and spend as much money and order meals and try and help each other out.
Yeah.
So gigs have been rammed, quizzes have been busy. The classic comedy clubs been selling out constantly. People are coming in like that. Nearly, we had to donate money during lockdown to keep that going, keep it paying rent. So a lot of people donated, and a lot of people are getting, a lot of people are still going. So people are making a massive effort, but it's fun. It is fun to do.
Well, you think that campaign name was bad? Like in the, New Zealand. Like if you think that was bad during like level 3, I think it was around this time last year, it kind of lifted Ireland and the UK. So I was gigging up the north a lot. And their whole thing was in bars that had never had gigs before, but they had stages and stuff set up in these weird, rough as fuck, a couple of them now, to be fair, like, but they don't know what to make of me because I'm such a fucking Southern culture. They're like, I don't know what to make of this conflict, but what their campaign throughout the whole UK was to get people, I think it was Monday through to Thursday, it was half price between like 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock or something like that for beer and fucking dinner or something. It was some weird half price thrown together notion of this will get people out helping the fucking, and they called it eat out to help out.
Oh God, I seen that.
And
I did see that on something, yeah.
And what blew my mind was it was the first thing I said. Like there were big posters saying "eat out to help out," and I had on the road driving into Belfast and went, "This cannot be actually the campaign." So literally, you just go, "Well, this is going to be the funniest thing I've ever said in my fucking life." And people, and they were looking at me going, "I'm not sure. Eat out." I'm like, "Eat." Jesus Christ.
The happy nom-noms, you know what I'm talking about.
Like the furry cup, you know what I mean? Just getting down there, just munch. And then you could start to see it. So I had to devise an entire story based around how that campaign was come up with. But like that, it was some dirty owl one who's basically head of the campaign going, fucking eat out. And she became, suddenly, even though it was a UK campaign, she came from fucking Dublin. It was just way funnier that she turned into an owl one from Dublin. She
has to be an owl one. It's mad because if they're so used to it. If someone says, "Oh, this is the thing, it's eat out to help out," and they go, "That's what it is. That's what it is," and it's only when you explain to them as an outsider.
Yeah.
Like there's a restaurant here, and when I first came here, I think Alan Hurley may have said the same thing when he first came here. I'm pretty sure other comedians said it as well. There's a restaurant, a Thai. I see. I'm trying to pronounce a TH just to fucking because I live away. Because no one understands me half the time because I hang around Irish people in the Irish.
Yeah, you haven't gotten even a hint of a Kiwi accent. Not even a hint.
I did. I raised the end of a sentence once. I was watching my kid do something on a play, and I turned around and I said something. He goes, "I'm going to go to the shop," and then I just the abuse I got. I was like, "What the fuck?" I'd never say sweet ass, but But in lockdown, I watched a lot of the McDonagh stuff, and I watched a bit of Love Hate again, and I only started listening to podcasts lately, so I'm listening to a lot of Irish stuff, and then my accent is fully there. But if I'm speaking to and I can't talk to people during the day, I'm not able for it, but if I am, I have to try and speak slower and pronounce certain words. Otherwise you get that glazed look in their eyes where they're like, huh? And it's not worth the whole conversation. Sometimes you don't speak, if you're going to the shop to buy bread and milk, you go, because if you say something, they'll go, oh, what's that? What's that noise? Where are you from? You're like, oh man, I just woke up. I just woke up.
Yeah.
Do you like living here? How long you living here? Oh, have you done this? Have you done that? It's like, I live around the corner, you mad fuck. I've been here 12 years. So let me go home.
Funny thing, I bet you Irish people do that shit too to people though. You know what I mean? Like,
they're probably the worst for it. Yeah.
Yeah. You know full well we do. Like, sure, for fuck's sake, they're not that far gone from us, the Kiwis, in all fairness. But
we're very similar, man.
Has your child got a Kiwi accent?
She does. I still love her, but she has it's mad. We were only looking at videos the other day because I had her. I'm not with my ex. I'm not with the baby mama. We were looking at videos of when she was in Ireland, and she has a little Dublin accent, which is funny. Yeah, because she was there for a couple of years, and she had a really strong kind of, because she was around my ma a lot. My ma, fucking on the phone, how are you doing? And then she so there's a video where she's like, a dog chased her, my cousin's dog, and she turned around and started going, come on, and started barking at the dog, and just had a really strong accent. And she's singing some song on a microphone, and she has the accent, and it's lovely. But now it's full on. Like, I do material about it. I don't want to do material. I don't want to be one of those people. But but she does a lot of Kiwis. They don't finish the sentence, so they go sweet as, right? So it's sweet as or hot as or something. So I tell this on stage where she says, "Oh, it's hot as," and I'm like, "Hot as what?" You know what I mean? I'm on the edge of my seat.
Don't leave me in fucking suspense here, girl. Come on.
Yeah, what's going on? Hot as what? And stuff like so. But she loves our Irish heritage, so she wants to do Irish dancing and stuff like that, and she's great. And she has Dutch side as well, because the ex had Dutch family, so the grandparents are Dutch and Irish and stuff. So she has a bit of she's a melting pot, but she has the accent, and it's quite strong, you know. But she does a good impression of my ma. She can put on my ma's accent. And she go, "I'm gonna check my Facebook." Like,
Buke.
She gets it straight away. But yeah, she has it, and she's a proper Kiwi kid. Like, I talk about it where our school, this will blow your mind. My school, I don't know, your school was probably the same as mine. It looked like a prison.
Yeah,
it was just a
rough as fuck.
School, massive walls, bricks, horrible. Her school is on a beach, and it has a swimming pool and a basketball court and a football pitch, and it's just amazing. It's amazing to go there, and I'm like, wow, this is crazy. Whereas school for us was misery. Absolute
no wonder they come out being such chirpy, happy bastards, good at sports and stuff. Because they go to these fucking absolute like health spas for schools.
Yeah, it's a breeding ground for superheroes.
Yeah,
like it's mad. She's 8 years old, and I brought her to a climbing place, a kids climbing thing, and we go every now and again. And I brought her last time, and I shared a video of it because I couldn't believe it. She does triathlons. Like, she's 8 years old.
Of course, like.
What was I doing? I was trying to play my mate's Nintendo if he'd let me into his house.
Yeah.
Like, 8 years old. She ran up, and I have a video of it where you had to climb up this massive pole. She's on a rope, obviously, but she's not using it. She's climbing up, stands up like fucking Batman, standing up on this thing, and then jumps onto a punch bag and swings and falls down. And I'm looking at that going, I shared it. I showed my ma. She was like, "What the fuck is that?" And she likes to. She likes to kind of fight with me. You know, she jumps on me and tries to fight and stuff. And it's funny, and I'm lashing her on the ground, and then I'm like, Jesus Christ, your abs are rock hard. You know what I mean? Like, they're trying to tickle her, and you're like, it's like hitting a laptop. It's like hitting steel. Yeah. And you can feel the muscle on her as a kid.
I've heard about these fucking Kiwi fucking way of raising kids, like where they, and we all wonder then how for such a small place are they incredible at rugby. It's like, oh, I see now.
Absolutely amazing. I seen it as well. There was we were in Barcelona a few years ago before the move. Oh no, I was living here and I went back on a mate's stags. And my mate's brother from Dublin I think he's about 6 foot something. He was always the biggest fella of all the lads, right? And he's kind of built, not massively. And we were in a bar, and it was these Kiwi lads. They were I think they were Tongan or Samoan. They were island lads, and they were absolute monsters. And they were pretty young, but they look older than you. And Dave was standing there, and he was talking to them, and we were talking, having a chat. And then one of them just hit Dave let's tap them on the shoulder, and you can see Dave go like this, right? And then when the lads went away, and they were friendly, they were lovely. When the lads went away, Dave went, "I put all my strength in not getting knocked across the room that time." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he just tapped them. And Dave was like, "Jesus Christ!" And they're huge. I've seen them in the bar, in the Irish bar, where a lot of the lads are bouncers, and there's a fella starting a fight. A fella just starting a fight once, and Paulie, the bouncer, comes in and just grabs him and picks him up like a child and carries him out. Not a bother to him. Like, they're fucking massive.
It must be weird living in their world. Literally, they're like actual human bears walking around, like actual grizzlies walking around going, "I'm just going to pick up this tiny white guy." Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Just, I'm going to walk your ass on. Hey, no need to fight. You know, because...
Yeah, they're so friendly. Really nice people, lovely people, and they'll say it. If there's someone drunk and trying, "Oh, fucking knock you out," they'll go, "Look, I'll say it again. You won't knock me out. We're being friendly. Just calm down, or you're outside." And there's never a fight, but they literally just pick them up and drop them out, and that's it. It's amazing. But yeah, them lads playing rugby, you have no chance.
I remember I was at the last episode there at the Ireland scrum coach on. We were just talking about hard bastards. He's a funny fuckers is the Fogarty brothers. But I mentioned I hit a Samoan one time with a tackle. I was a bit of a tank at the time. I fancied myself, you know, because we were playing on a good team. We were milling people, and we were playing this shit box team as a charity event or something. And this lad was standing around just looking at the sky, and he didn't want to be there. I don't think he even had football boots on. He was wearing old fucking like Bermuda shorts, just hands in his pockets, looking up at the sky. And I went, I don't need to go near him, but I'm just gonna fucking run over him. And I hit him, and the cunt was only about 8 stone soaking wet, I'd say, and I was easily 15, 16 stone. And I woke up to smelling salts on the ground, and he's like, "Hey, is everything all right?" He's like made of different shit, not made of the Caucasian thing we're made of, which is just fucking air and farts or whatever. But this bastard, the only description I could describe was that he was like a bag of hammers, not like hitting a big iron thing. He was like loads of bits of him, all his bits, strong, and he not even trying. He just at the last minute he just went, "Aye," and just fucking creased me, absolutely fucking creased me.
We tried to play. A lot of the lads, rugby players, try and learn skill at a young age by playing football, soccer.
Right.
So we're playing 5-a-side, and you know, we're playing whatever. We're playing all expats, and then all these young rugby players come up and they fucking flatten you. There's no 50-50 shoulder with these lads. You're going for the ball. You're on the floor and you don't even realize. You know. Yeah. We're superhuman. Absolutely superhuman.
And tell me this: when you did the country tour, what are the cultures like versus what city? I never even asked what city or where you are.
I'm in Auckland, and Auckland is pretty much Dublin. Everyone hates Auckland, right? Everyone hates Auckland, and that's exactly what it is. It's not a great city, you know. There's so much land and space and stuff. Like there's a phrase here we're called Jaffas, so like a Jackeen kind of thing. So Jaffa is just another fucking Aucklander, right? And that's it. Where are you from? Oh, I live in Auckland. Ah, fucking Jaffa. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's that kind of thing. It's not even the capital. Wellington is the capital. That's very hipster and whatever. But the outside, the small towns, there's a lot of farmland and working class people, and they're great. That's my crowd. I love that. They're there to have a laugh and stuff. You know, you can say what you want to them. You know, they're not going to read something into it. So those gigs are amazing, and you're turning up, and they come in steaming. They come in ready to fucking go, and they're ready to heckle and shout and stuff. And we love that. Me and Gary are well able for that. That's what we want instead of doing
course.
Material. So I love it. I absolutely love it. And then coming back to Auckland, doing the gigs in the comedy club and the classic art, they're always great. That's amazing. But some of the other gigs, if you jump up or you headline a fucking open mic night, you know, and you're trying out new material, that can be a bit tough. There was one, right? I did this one. It was there wasn't many people in, and I was on last, and it was a weird night, and the MC mentioned that I was from Ireland, and these two English girls, like, if anything, I'm glad I did the gig because of this story. It's not even that funny, but my mate were there. My mate is from Limerick, and she was there with her partner, and they were there. And Gary, the guy, introduced me, and he said from Ireland, and it was these two drunk English girls, and they were losing their mind with aggression, and they were like, "You fucking Irish," and shouting stuff at me. I didn't even get to the stage. I'm like, "Oh, I can't do this." Right? I wasn't in the mood. It was a Thursday night. There wasn't many people there, and they kept shouting at me, and I'm shouting back at them. And I got to the stage where you're saying stuff you shouldn't really say to another human. You know what I mean? And you're like, I had to be louder and more aggressive than
this.
And it was a shock, and it was a nightmare night, but I had to do the gig to get paid. So I was walking up to the stage. At the same time, I didn't realize, but the barman's friend thought it'd be funny to order me chips to get an Irishman. Right? This is
some cunt, like funny, right? Some cunt of a move.
Yeah. So he orders chips. So the chips come out as I'm on stage, and the English girl grabbed a handful of chips, shoved them in her mouth, and then started to choke on the chips, right? So I'm like, Jesus Christ, here we are, 800 years.
I'm just going to say it's so political.
Like potatoes, and you try to take my potatoes again now, and you choke on them. What will you fucking die? And then that was it. And I walked away. I fucking walked away, and that was it. And that's the only time one of those horrible shithouse gigs has been all right. But there was another paid act that turned up to that gig at the start, looked around and said, nah, I'd rather not do this. I'd rather pay than not do, and walked away. It was one of those sort of gigs. So, it's nuts.
Well, it's great though that you've created your own kind of, with the fact that you said there wasn't a circuit, to be able to go, to be able to create your own circuit and just go, fuck it, and just go off on tour yourself and Gary, like. Yeah,
you get in touch with a bar and you go, like they'll put you, this is how weird it is, they'll put you up in their house. So you'll go there and they'll take care of you give you loads of free drink. I never drank Jaeger in Ireland. I don't know. I didn't even know it existed, but it's all Irish people drink here. It's mad. One of the bars, they call it a cup of tea because they drank Jaeger bombs and it looked like tea. So if anyone the manager sitting there drinking what looks like tea, what's that? It's a cup of tea. So you walk into the bar, you go, can I have a cup of tea? And they go, here's a go. And you lash it back, right? It's a Jaeger. And it's always a Jaeger shot is a Jaeger shot. And then a cup of tea is a Jaeger bomb. But in the bars, we did a bar called Seamus's Irish bar, and it was like doing, like, I don't know, the International or the Halfpenny Inn. The crowd were on you, right? And this is the other thing, just spit. You can see the spit going everywhere, right? It was first time in a long time, and they're right there. And I asked the bar for a shot of Jaeger, and it was a heavy pour, and I didn't know this, and it was like 3 or 4 shots of Jaeger, and it was the same size of a Jaeger bomb. So they gave it to me, and I'm like, yeah, cheers. And I sculled it back, and I was like, what the fuck? It was like 3 or 4 shots of Jaeger. And they're just laughing their heads off. Like, they love it. They look after you. The hospitality is amazing. They bring us, we didn't wake up, but there was lads sitting there. They said, we'll bring you out. If you're at this spot at 9 o'clock in the morning, we'll bring you out fishing all day. Right. And we never woke up. We were fucked after the Jaeger. But that was it.
The offer was there, like.
The offer was there, yeah, but that happens a lot.
Does it? Because the idea of that is fucking lovely. Like, but just, it's totally after reminding me. I had another chap on, he was a singer, and he was abroad he literally playing in the Keys one night in Temple Bar. A couple were just after getting engaged from New Zealand, and they went, we'd love you to play at our wedding. He went, oh, that'd be great, yeah. Let's keep singing. The night went on grand. Headed home with his few pound, and he gave him his card or whatever contact he had. Fucking email literally the following day going, so are you available for these dates? And we'll fly you. Flew him in, and basically he'd only just the wedding to do, but flew him in for like a week of hanging around playing golf, having the crack. And you're like, but that sounds, Jesus, that is lovely.
I don't want to brag too much. It's pretty nice. Like, it's pretty nice. Like, the last weekend we were in Queenstown, and so there's this shot over jet. It's just like a speed boat that goes down through the rivers.
Oh yes, yeah.
It's amazing. And for a couple of free tickets to the show, we did it. Me, Gary Lolsey, and another comedian, and it was fucking freezing, but it was amazing, and the views are unreal. Like, you don't want to take it for granted, but it was free because we gave them a few tickets to the show, and they had a great night. And there's loads of that. There's always someone. We get flown over. Gary, he's unreal. There's a little island. I don't even know how to describe it. Craggy Island is what I call it. Right. It's a small island off the coast of just off Auckland. It's a half an hour plane ride in this piece of shit little plane, and they let me sit in the front once. They were all the staff from that airport came to the quiz last night, and the pilot was there, and the thing, and I slag off because it's where young pilots they learn their hours, they gain their hours. So there's a little kid flying the plane, and I've material about it, and he doesn't know I've material about it. I'm like, shit, man, I ripped the shit out of it. They bring to this island, and it's like, I'm not even joking, it's like Jurassic Park, right? So you land, and it's just tropical. At the back, so the bar we did the gig in looks like Southeast Asia. It's just a massive mountain of dark green trees and
I think I saw photographs. Did you have I was looking at that going, is he in fucking Hawaii or something?
I'm baffled by it every single time. And we're in this bar, and it's called the Curragh, right? Irish bar, right?
Of course,
I'm not even joking. It's the only pub on the island, right? You land in the airport, and they said in a text, there's a car waiting for you. It's completely, there's no electricity there. It's all generators and solar powered and wind powered. And they say there's a car waiting for you. And you're like, where's the car? What's the driver's name? I'm like, no, there's a car with a key in the ignition for you. And you know what I mean? It's mental. And you get in this car and you drive, and there's like 2 or 3 roads on the island, and you drive, and everyone does that, which I haven't seen since.
Oh, the country salute, like off the steering wheel,
driving out of Dublin. And my dad's like, watch this. Yeah, right. And we're driving around the barrier island, and we're driving there, and it's and we go to the bar and that night, the bar, so I'll tell you, I did fucking too many things to tell you, right? We were at a house having drinks after one of the gigs, or the night before the gig, and next door does like rebel music, loud, like fucking come out, you black and tans. And we're like, who the fuck is staying in there? There must be a lot of lunatics, right? And then at the gig, the next night, so the gig was the next night. The fella comes up to me, right? And he was a big fella, and I'm not a big rugby fan, but he was talking to me, and he kept on hitting me on the shoulder as well. He's one of them big lads, and he goes, did you hear me music last night? And he was Kiwi, and I said, oh, was that you? And he goes, yeah, I play the Wolf Tones every night before I go to bed. He's an ex-All Black.
What?
Right? Yeah, Bernie McCall, and his brother played for Ireland. So he played for He played for Ireland, and I'm like, what? And I did a stupid like hack a bit about my kid asking me do Irish people do the hack it, and I just throw drink over myself and do dumb shit. But and I'm like, I did a fucking hack it in front of that man, and he's an All Black, right? Rebel music, but he's like, oh look, his parents are Irish, and he's obsessed. But at the gig, the venue, the pub, it's fucking mental. The pub is owned by an Irish woman, Orla, right? And she's great crack. She's fucking mental. She's doing Dry July now. So we did a gig a couple of weeks ago, and she couldn't drink. The month before that, I was playing Johnny Logan on Spotify, and she was on a chair going nuts. What's another year? And then so we're going back. The gig is on August the 1st, just because that's the end of July, and she can drink again. And that's it. So we're going back to do a gig on that. And I'm there every month. I'm doing new stuff every month, right? I'm trying to write new stuff every month. And they're great crack. The bar was started by a lady from maybe Cork, I think she was. And she's still there. She's like the socialite of the island. Like she's
living on this island. Because to me, it sounds like people are living in trees and stuff like over there.
Yeah, and it's mad, but it's weird. And like, because of lockdown, a lot of rich people start looking at the island and trying to buy property and stuff. Right. Oh, that's where we'll go. But then the borders kind of opened up and they can go to Australia. But this little bar in the middle of an island, in the middle, like no one knows about, Gary found a gig there somehow, and they fly us over. So they pay to fly us on that little plane over there. We get free accommodation, a car to drive and do what you want, and then a certain amount of free booze and food, just to make the locals laugh. And I'm sure she makes a bit of money when all the people are in, but not enough to justify.
Yeah, of course, but I love the notion that there's a car that both you can definitely drive. Do you know what I mean? Because so many fucking comedians can't drive. Like so many comedians have to pick up and drive to, we're talking lads in their 50s who have never turned the key. Do you know?
Yeah.
But fuck you. You just better learn in that spot, I suppose. Just get on with it.
I had to, but I learned how to drive here. I didn't drive in Ireland. I never had to. And then I stayed in a place called Hamilton. I can't even, it was at one stage the chlamydia capital of New Zealand. And it's where my ex's family, it's a great place. When their local rugby team plays, you don't want to go out into the town, right? You want to stay away from the town.
Carnage.
If they win, they're aggressive. It's the first time, I don't even remember the last time I saw a paddy wagon, if that's what you call it.
Right, yeah.
Van, right? And people getting flung into it. It's a weird place. And my ex's family lived there. And so I was there for 2 weeks, and I said, I need to drive. I need to get out of here. So I shouldn't say this. I used a fake ID, a fake driver's license that I had from Ireland. I'm wearing a school uniform. I don't even look like me. And I used that, I shouldn't say this, to get it changed and to skip the 1 year waiting period for the driver's license, and then did a test, failed because I didn't know how to drive. I thought I could wing it, and then learned a bit, did a few lessons, and then learned how to drive, passed the test, and now I drive, right? But I never drove in Ireland. I didn't, and it's an automatic car as well. I couldn't handle all the fucking, you know, the Fast and the Furious stuff. I just want to go click, 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 and that's it. But yeah, but it's funny because we land and she doesn't know if we can drive or not. So Gardy can't drive, a few of the others can't drive. So it's me driving around the whole island. But and that's the other thing. It's just a small island, and there's the 1 or 2 roads, so it's easy. You just it's a go-kart. You just go, and there's 2 cops that live on the island, and they're married to each other, so they don't give a fuck, right? So everyone can do what they want, except for if there's a big festival on, then they have the mainland cops come over, and then there's no crack. They're the ones that come over and ruin the fun. It's just a different world altogether, and it's half an hour from here.
Like the itinerary. Are we picking the boys up at 12? Or the boy, you flying the boy? Yeah. And we have some place. Great. Who's dropped the car up? No, just drop the car. Drop the fucking car to the airfield for the boys, for the love of fuck. Yeah, what do you expect?
The car's been there days. And the thing is, the airfield is a perfect. When the plane lands, sometimes he doesn't land on the runway. Sometimes he goes fuck a shortcut across the grass. Like there's no law whatsoever.
Fuck it down on the lawn, basically.
And you're going across the grass. What the fuck is this? And the car's there. So when Gary landed, he did a first gig there, and he landed. He's like, where's the lift, right? Where's the lift? Because he couldn't drive, so he had to get someone else. And then he's waiting like half an hour, 45 minutes. And then eventually the guy, the partner of the owner of the pub, turns up, and Gary's like, where were you? And he goes, you're on island time now. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Relax,
we're not in a rush. Yeah. Then you learn quick that there's no, you know, it's nice, it's relaxing, and this is mental. This happened the second last time I was there, and I told a story on stage. I got to the airport early, right? And the airplane holds about maybe 8 people, 12 people, and I got there early, and I didn't know this, but if everybody is early for the flight, they go early.
Lovely. Isn't that fucking lovely? Are we all there?
Yeah.
Fuck it, man.
Let's go.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
I didn't know that, right? So I went to the toilet, and I'm sitting in, and there's 2 toilets in the airport, right? 2 unisex toilets. I'm in one, and I'm having a shit, and I'm in one, and I'm just fucking on my phone. I've earphones in as well. And then I hear a faint knock on my name, and I'm like, what? That's not my name, right? And then the knock on my door. I was like, Mr. McElroy. I'm like, yeah. Goes, the plane's leaving now, right? I'm like, what? It's like half an hour early. And he goes, yeah, we're all here, so we're going on the plane. I'm like, Jesus Christ, right? So I'm embarrassed, right? I'm embarrassed by that, and I'm walking through.
You're the shitting bloke now. Yeah.
The shitting bloke. But the thing is, everybody on the plane was at the gig the night before. They're like, oh, the show continues. I'm like, what is this island? I don't understand.
I love that. I fucking love that.
It's a great way of life.
Come on, we're all here. Let's fuck off. You know, it's that just puts me in such a good mood hearing about that, because it doesn't depress me anymore knowing that it does go on. I'm gone behind we need to hear good stories. Like, this is the thing.
Yeah.
So I don't get depressed anymore. Now it's just like, isn't it great that somebody's enjoying themselves? You know, but we moved back down the country here, and everything changed, because we were up in Dublin for years and years, and herself is from South Dublin, and she wanted to move to Tipperary. The second she came here once, that's the place I want to live. And nice. Like that, you can actually afford shit here. You know what I mean? And you're an hour and 45 minutes from Dublin if you need to be. 45 minutes from Cork. You know, Galway's an hour. You know, it's like
it's a good spot, then
it's a handy spot. But what I noticed was day one, I came down with my Dublin attitude when I was ringing people on the phone for things, and I was like, and I've said this a few times, but on the podcast, but this is just a perfect description of country/island style life. I rang because I wanted to order oil. It was like January, cold as shit. Ordered some oil for the tank. I had my Dublin fucking head on, had my card ready to give the guy, and I couldn't get through. I said, what the fuck is this? How do you not have a waiting fucking thing? So I rang again, and the guy totally disarmed me. He just said, no, hello, this is fucking O'Brien's oil or whatever. He just adds the phone. He goes, well, and I went, I love it. Well, he goes, how are you? I said, what? I'm fine, man. What can I do for you anyway? I'm fucking some oil, and before and at the end of the I was like, do I give you the card or whatever? Sure, look, do you have it there? I said, I do. Fuck it, I can't see the card machine anywhere. Sure, don't worry, we'll catch you another time. Anyway, that'll be on with you. And literally, how the fuck it happened, but like it's out in the sticks. But yet you're not. I'm talking 40 minutes later, a big giant bastard was at the back kitchen window going, "Oh, that's full now. Come on." And still no money changed hands. Just fucked off. And it was the whole thing that I've picked up on is that you better, when you go into the hardware like that and you might only want nails or something, but you better be prepared to lean on the counter. Yeah. Where are you fucking going in a hurry? It'll be there in an hour. Where are you going? Where are you going to hurry on you? You know, everything has come back way slower. I've noticed I'm not half as sour, not half as angry about things. It's just like, oh yeah.
And it's weird you say that. So it must be just a Dublin thing. Because I came
it's a city thing. London, New York, they're all the same. Too fucking many jammed in.
Pent up and fucking angry. This isn't even a funny story, but I remember getting in an argument over envelopes when I first got here. Like, it's fucking stupid. I needed a couple of envelopes, and it was cheaper to buy a multi-pack.
Yeah.
And it wasn't even cheaper. So say one envelope was say 20 cents and a pack was $1. And I was like, a pack of 5, I'll get, or whatever maths, whatever way, whatever, 6 envelopes. And I said, I'll just get the 6. I'll just get the bulk envelopes. I'll use them eventually because it's a kind of saving, right?
Yeah.
And I went up to the checkout and she goes, "Oh, it's not scanning. I'll just rip it open." And ripped it open and charged me individual for envelopes. It wasn't even that expensive. But I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I could have bought 1 envelope if I wanted it, but I wanted to buy 6. And she's like, "Well, do you want 1 envelope or 6? I'm like, I only want 1 envelope. It's like, "Well, what are you buying 6 for?" I'm like, Jesus Christ, yeah. Why am I getting fucking red in the face?
Yeah.
Over an envelope.
Ready.
I just don't care. It's lovely. It's relaxing, You're not stressed out by stuff, that you shouldn't be stressed out by. It's great.
Yeah. And it all became very, I forget, like I don't spot it now as quickly. And I remember my grandfather, he passed away at 100 there last month. Oh. But I fucking went out on his turn. He literally went, "That's me now. That's me." Got the check. Literally got the check and went, "That's me. That's it." And I went, "All right, there could be more in you. What more does it need to be?" And like 3 weeks later, he was dead, but just died with a smile on his face. Like, but
lovely.
But lovely. That man, you would not rush that man. He lived by his time, and I was like, you know what I mean? Like, but it was for the crack for his 100th birthday. We made him a lord. You can buy these little fucking square. We thought he'd laugh his bollocks off at this, right? So, but I remember I sent it into the local printers, and again, if this is Dublin, you'd have to go into Reed's of Nassau Street, and you'd have to queue, and there would be, sorry, what name was it? What?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. And then, and it's all pent up. There's just so many stages that's just keep on adding layers to your fucking tension. And then you get there. That's 347. You're like, oh, could you just charge me 4 quid off? What? Like, just that's such a fucky number. It's numbers even, like, just stop making it so. And I sent it to a guy in Tiptown and I heard nothing back on the email. And I needed it the next day because we were traveling over to the grandfather. I rang the guy, and again, I rang him with he hadn't replied to my email, but sending it. And again, disarmed me completely. Well, I went, I said, fucking well. And he goes, "Tom, is it?" As if nobody else had emailed him in the past 24 hours. Like, yeah. Smashing. Should I have that old yoke printed? Call in whenever you want for that old thing. And the guy didn't even charge me. Like, I said, what the fuck am I going to charge for? What am I going to charge? Fucking... I said, "Well, print me 2 so I can give you a $5 of it." Why?
Yeah.
I said, "Well, give me a 2 and give me a nice envelope and I'll give you a $5. And he went, "Yeah, grand job."
Yeah.
Anyway, how you keep it? I didn't know the man from fucking Adam. Like, and you're going, "I'm fucking keeping class. Thanks, actually." Do you know what I mean? Like, it was just.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I love that.
Different.
You get that. You get that in, like, there's a bar that we drink in. It's called Father Ted's. Of course.
Perfect.
And it's run by a lad from Limerick, and the staff, a lot of them are Limerick and Wexford and Cork and stuff. And that's what you get there. It's just, that's why I can't lose my accent as well, because that's who I'm around,
Yes, yeah.
And all of them are all relaxed in the Kiwi time as well.
Lovely.
So no one, like, you can tell people fresh off the plane, they're all fucking stressed out or trying to start arguments like, "Where are you from?" "Oh, Dublin." "Oh, fucking Dublin." Like, I've English friends. I don't care about anything anymore. You know what I mean? I'm away so long. Fucking Dub. So it's or like people fresh off, are you north side or south side? I'm like, I don't even remember. You know what I mean?
yeah.
I've been away for so long, I don't care. But I bought this sums it up. I managed to buy a place in Auckland, and
did you?
but,
That's class.
Yeah, but I couldn't, like, they wouldn't let me do it, right? The bank wouldn't let me do it because I'm self-employed, right? And I'm sitting there and I was like, I have the savings, I fucking saved. And then and I was in the bar and I was getting angry because the fucking bank wouldn't let me do it. And then one of the lads at the bar was like, "Oh, you need a mortgage broker and a lawyer." I was like, "Yeah, but I've spoke to them and they made it hard and difficult to talk to, and it just wasn't fun." And then it's like literally like, see that fella over there, like shouting at a pill cue, right? Hammered off his nut, right? He goes, "Yeah, he's a mortgage broker." I'm like, him? Like in the bar, you've only ever known these people as drunks, you know?
Yeah.
At the weekend or whatever, and they're steaming, right? Fucking falling all over the place. And then I'm like, he's a fucking boy, yeah. And then she heard over there, she's a lawyer, right? She's pissed as well. She's fucking off her nut and singing and dancing and stuff. And then you go meet them on the Monday morning and they're fresh as a daisy, probably a bit dusty, but fresh enough. And you sit down and they're wearing suits and you're having conversations and you're like, I just thought everyone was a dipso.
Yeah.
And they're all relaxed. And then you meet them at their job and then they're like, I'll take care of you. Don't worry. I'll make sure that happens. And they fucking did whatever they did and made it happen. And you're like, wow. Like the Irish people here look after each other as well. So it's a great kind of community as well. So it's Irish people with that kind of more relaxed attitude.
Lovely.
Like it's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's great.
And what's next on the cards anyway? Sorry, tour-wise, because I don't want to take up your whole fucking evening.
No, you're fine. I'm all right. I'm having a laugh. It's nice to talk to you. I'm this weekend. I'm going to Queenstown to get off my nut with a load of friends for my 40th. Yeah, so like that. Even one of the lads there, he's Cork. He's like exactly what you were saying. There's banter. There's all that. Sure, we see what happens. Sure, what happens. You know.
Yeah.
And then after that, gigging. We start doing this Irish and Scottish show. That's been selling out everywhere, which is mad. We don't really, yeah, so it's me and Gary, and then Lolsey jumps on every now and again, and a few others, and then traveling again. So that's Auckland next week, and then August we're just traveling around again, just going to different places. We're trying to go to really obscure places and find more islands. There's all these different islands. We want to go from top to bottom, and that sort of carry on. It's great. But are you back gigging?
Yeah, well, literally. This morning was just talking about fucking gigs that are going to be starting back. So we have locked in gigs now. They're fluting around. I'm doing a lot of corporate hosting online and stuff like that. And it's, I get to take the piss out of people. So at least it scratches a tiny bit of the itch, but it ain't the same thing at all. Like, you know, and there's a couple outdoorsy things that I've done. They ain't really cutting the mustard just yet, but it looks like we should all be back on track by late August. So, you know, but
within reach.
It is just fucking around the corner. And but because there's been so many now, you know, where you're like, my heart's been broken so many times. I just, you just can't.
Yeah, I wouldn't be. I don't know how you can deal with that. I
just started building down here. Just started building.
Yeah.
I built a new studio. I just building. Just have to start because the parents have kind of foresty land out the back of their place and just started cutting down trees. No phone. I had to do something because I'd go on a murder spree. Like if I didn't start doing something, I'd just start fucking just killing or something.
It's funny you say that, right? Because my dad got so, like I said, he got bored drinking. He started building as well. Brilliant. So he built a fucking tree house without a tree, a big fucking thing in the garden for my sister's kid. And he found, I got this thing. I used to work in Aldi and I stole this thing that burns into wood, like engraving.
Yeah. I remember.
Right?
Yeah.
And I got that years ago because I thought I might do something with it. And we have a message and we have a call, and he goes, "Remember that thing that you got from Aldi?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Oh, I drew his in the wall." Like he burnt our face, and I have the pictures. And he burnt our faces, me, myself, and we look evil as fuck. It's our face burned into wood. But he thinks it's. I've never seen him draw a picture in my life, and he's like, "Looks like you, doesn't it?" I'm like, "That looks mental, and you're burning my face into wood. That's even crazier." But he doesn't. Now he's building stuff, and he's doing
creative side has come out. I wonder will we find a lot of people come out of this kind of going, fuck the job, and becoming a potter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's fucking misery otherwise if you're not creating something. And the pub was probably hiding your creativity in one way, like, you know. So I wonder, will we see a couple of like that? Your outlet probably never drew a thing for you ever in his life, like mine did.
I never seen him draw a picture in my life. I never seen him. It was work, sit down and watch telly.
Yeah.
He used to make us cups of tea when we were kids, and it was poison. Like, that's the only time I think he do something. If my ma went away, and he would scald dinner, and the tea would be fucking boiling hot, and that was it. It was that. He does that, you know. But it's mad. I remember, like, I just remember now, like the first gig we did back, we were all shitting ourselves.
Of course,
it was like doing the first gig all over again. It was mental. I was hosting, and there was big TV names here on the gig. I think they were all TV names, and I was hosting. And it was fine, but there was like the nerves before I got on stage was like your first ever gig, and it was just mental. And it took all of us like 2 minutes to just sort of find your rhythm again. Every single one of them just stumbled. All of us stumbled for a few minutes, and the audience knew it as well. They didn't know what to do because they're used to watching Netflix.
So they were rusty as well.
Out loud. You go, remember, you're at a show now. You're not sitting there. You can't talk to your missus. Right, you're sitting here at a live show. You're gonna laugh if you find it funny. The whole transition from just being in like internet and TV and stuff to being live again, it was mental. But once we got the hang of it, it was great fun.
Well, we got such a slap in the arse. We got that. The first gig back was last year. Fucking stunning. This unbelievable kind of fucking structure that they built in Salt Hill. It was like 28 degrees by the beach. All these yurts, people were fucking being served food. I went, we're back. Now, rusty as fuck, like, you know what I mean? And had never been that rusty, because it was either starting out new and you were shit, or you're just getting better all the time. There was never this period of extreme rust. So I was even up there going, lads, this is going to be like, I can only imagine what mentally this is like coming back after the summer holidays in primary school and you've forgotten how to fucking write. So this is going to be utter fucking shit for the next 25 minutes. I can promise you that. But we were off to the races, and it got better and better. And I was doing a lot of gigs everywhere bar Dublin. That was what convinced me we're doing the right thing by moving back to because Dublin is too big to recover that quickly. So and doing all these gigs, and then we're going back into fucking lockdown. We're being told this, and I was doing the Roisin Dove. And it was me. I can't remember the other chap's name, but Joe Caulfield was on a Zoom call. A screen comes down, and they would have her zooming it in.
I think I've seen a picture of it. Yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah, it
was brilliant. But we actually had an audience, and her fucking internet shit to bed. So they were like, I was literally actual tea I was drinking out the back, and they were like, Tom, can you go a bit longer? I went, longer? I'd fucking go as long as you fucking want. And I ended up doing like an hour and 20 minutes. And we're all practically balling, because I knew I had to drive back across the country and be back. I was supposed to be in my house by 12 o'clock. Sure, I was finishing up at 12 o'clock in Galway. So it was like, fuck. But we were all just going, I don't know when I'll see you again, lads. It was very, very fun and a lot of crack, but at the same time, pure melancholy, because we're all going, well, we're going back in. We're going back in now. The mother's taking away our bike. We're not getting the pay again. You know? It's the saddest fucking thing ever, but it looks like we're back on fucking track. At least almost everybody's kind of vaccinated or whatever the fuck, I don't know at this stage. So it's looking, they're letting people have holidays at the moment now today. So as of yesterday, I think so. I'll only hope. This is why the podcast is great, was talking to lads, you know what I mean? Like, and hanging out with comedians and funny fuckers, because at least then you'll go, well, we're getting some sort of a scratch of an itch, you know, that kind of way. And my podcast has done well as a result of people not being able to fucking go anywhere. Like, so
I say so, because I only started listening. I started doing my own interviewing people about like shit gigs and stuff.
Yeah,
I think
brilliant.
You do something similar. Yeah, and it's just everyone has a mental story of a nightmare gig. So and that was great. And then during lockdown, I did the quizzes online. And that was great, but you're drinking with people online, you know, so you're send a picture of your drink, and I'm drinking Jaeger out of a bottle. Like, it got to a stage, you're just, and you're having a laugh and banter, and then the quiz stops, and then you're like, I'm drunk on my own in the house, you know what I mean?
That's sad. There's a sad fucking...
Oh, I was drinking with people a few minutes ago, but I didn't enjoy the online gigs. I didn't enjoy the Zoom. There was, if someone laughed too loud, their face became the center picture.
Yes,
and then they were very self-conscious. Oh, it was torture. I did it. It was fine, but I didn't enjoy it at all. Like, I felt like I was stealing their money as well. Like, it didn't feel right. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Weirdly, I think people have become very au fait on how it works now. Do you know what I mean? And you can't really do it by yourself. You have to have a tech who's controlling people's faces. You have to, it can't be straight stand-up. It can't. Like what I found is it's got to be games. So all you can fucking do with people. It's got to be games and have the crack, because I also don't want it to be stand-up, because I don't want fucking stand-up being sullied by the internet. It should be the real thing. You know what I mean? Like, so
you need that, like, you know yourself on stage. I'd say you're similar to me. Something catches your attention.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck, this is me now for 20 minutes. You can't do it on the internet. You know what I mean? You're standing there in your bedroom talking into a computer.
Yeah.
I did Facebook Live gigs where there was only emojis to see if they were laughing. You know what I mean? And you say something and then you see the emojis and you're like, oh God, this is fucking grim. Horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Well, look, hopefully we'll be back on par with what you're doing fairly fucking soon. It seems to be on the right path. So I am hopeful. I am hopeful. I think it
looks like it.
A lot of festivals now, like there's been a lot of grants given out. These promoters need to spend it. They it's almost like Brewster's Millions. It ain't worth it to them unless they actually spend it. You know what I mean? So it's got to be, literally, I was talking yesterday going, Tom, literally, as soon as we get green lights, are you ready to fucking go? I was like, oh, Jesus, I said, don't ring another fucking comedian. I will do them all. I will do them all. Yeah. And I'll even do them in 2 fucking places at the one time. I don't know how, but I'm going to fucking do them. And they were like, Grant, that's what we wanted to hear. So you ready to go? I was like, fucking name it. Name the moment. And I'm out, so we are fucking very hopeful. But
that's great. It's going to be amazing. It's going to fly back.
I'm fucking, when do you come? Will you get back home at some stage? Or I suppose
I was home for 7 months a couple of years ago, and that was enough. Like
I managed
to get I got a heat wave. I got a lovely crisp Halloween. I got a lovely winter, and then January kicked in, and I hate January. I've horrible. I still have nightmares about January in Ireland. School and stuff, just dark and misery. So I think my sister's had a kid. And she's having another kid since I went back and got married. So I think I'm going back. I got roped into MC my mate's wedding, the Limerick girl's wedding. So I think I'm going back next year maybe, but I can't. I don't know what the world is going to be like.
Yeah, nobody does. Nobody does. Know?
Yeah,
it was almost this redundant question that as I was asking, I went, what am I fucking asking a man who's living in New Zealand right now? What in the name of?
Yeah. But that's the other thing. Like I'd go back, but if I go back, and I don't know if your family is the same. If I go to my parents' house, they're still in the same routine. They're sitting there watching telly and stuff. And like my ma as well, last time I was back, she was sitting there and she just said, I gotta have a nap now in the sitting room. And I said, she turned off the telly. Like she turned off the telly. It's like, this is my sitting room. And then turned off the telly. And I'm sitting there going, so I have to go. This is where this is the fucking TV room, you know? It was weird. And then, but when they came over here, even in that bar, Father Ted's, my ma made more friends than I knew in New Zealand. So when she's walking around, hey, Sandra, because she's out smoking or vaping with them. She's making friends everywhere. My dad's, because they're not at home, they're not in that, they're on holidays.
Yeah.
So the next time we do it, we were supposed to go to Vietnam last year. So the next time we see them, it will be on a holiday where
that's a better idea. Yeah.
Because it's just weird, you know, sitting. I wasn't allowed to use the washing machine in my man's house. You know what I mean? I'm an adult. I'm nearly 40 years old. I was like, I just got to put a wash on. She goes, don't go near that fucking washing machine. I was like, but I need to do a wash. That's my washing machine. Don't go near it. I'm like, nah, I'm a fucking grown man. I'm not 12. And that's the other thing. People don't forget. I went to a house and the neighbor I hadn't seen in years. And he popped around and he goes, last time I saw you, you had a shaven head, half your head, half a beard, and you flooded the garden. I'm like, that's your only memory of me.
Yeah.
Your only memory of me is that Good Friday we went nuts. That's it. Nothing else. I've got a child. You know, I'm driving a car. It's like, that's all you remember. Or just stay away from the fucking fire hose or whatever in the garden. I'm like, Jesus Christ, man.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. I need to meet them halfway, you know. But I'd love to do Edinburgh again. I'd love to do the show I did with Alan. Dying to do that again. That was great fun.
Yes,
so,
yeah.
Years.
Well, it's powerful having you on, Al. This has been fucking lovely. This is, I know it's your nighttime. It's my daytime now. I don't know. Put me in right. put me in right form now for the rest of the day. This is fucking
that's
fantastic.
Good. No, it's a pleasure. It was an absolute pleasure. I just felt we talk shit, which is great.
That's what fucking Buckshot's all about. It literally talks about scatter shit. Just scatter shit across the world. Exactly. Al, thank you very, very much, man. This has been brilliant.
Pleasure. Cheers, buddy.